Hi, I'm Gary. Welcome to my channel. Today, the kit I've pulled out of the stash is the Sopwith Camel in 1/32 scale from Wingnut Wings. This kit was very kindly sent to me by viewer Michael Harding. So Michael, thanks very much. A wingnut kit is something a lot of people want to make, but I'm keeping it until I feel strong enough as a model maker to do it justice. Now, if you enjoy the video, don't keep it to yourself. Let YouTube know by giving it the imperial thumbs up, by hitting the notification bell and subscribing to the channel. It's free and a great way to show your support. This kit with the Bentley BR1 engine was the first of the Wingnut Wings kits of the Sopwith Camel and was released in 2017. There have been 4 other releases from the same time, 2 with different engines and all 4 with different decals. One further release saw the Camel teamed up with the LVG C6 in probably one of the fanciest dogfight double sets of all time. Anyway, let's start with our kit by looking at the box it comes in. So the box art of the Wingnut Wings Sopwith Camel. It says Sopwith Camel BR1, so it's a Bentley rotary engine on here, and it is in 1/32 scale. A nice piece of box artwork depicting a bit of a dogfight over a river in northern France. On this side are reproductions of the 5 schemes for which there are markings, and there's a bit of information here about the aircraft, quite a lot of information actually about the Sopwith Camel. And as I say, the 5 different schemes that are included in the kit here. And then on the other long side, there's just some general warnings about choking hazard, recommended for age 14 and over because parts are very, very small. And there's only enough in here to build 1 model, but that's more than enough. Okay, let's have a look and see what you get inside for your money. Box is a traditional top opener. Inside we have one large plastic bag, inside which are several other plastic bags with all the different parts, but we'll have a look at that in a bit. Here we have a very large decal sheet. We have here the Sopwith Camel aftermarket from Edward, which is interesting. And we have the Wingnut Wings instruction booklet as well. So let's have a look at all these different bits and pieces. So here we have frame A. What do we have here? We have most of the sort of internal structure of the cockpit area, seats, all the bits and pieces around him. There's several versions of the engine cover depending on which engine's been fitted, different types of wheels. Some of this stuff is a bit redundant because they're for different versions, not included in this version. And there's some struts, some of the cabin interplane struts, undercarriage struts. These are the interplane struts here because that's got a pitot on it. Breeches for the guns are here. So all of this is like interior detail basically. Then on frame B we get to the meat of the aircraft, as it were. The cockpit sides, I think these are probably the lower wings, and the centre of the upper wings here. Cockpit coaming, instrument panel here, with I like this with a little feed off, presumably to the pitot for the airspeed indicator or something like that. Pretty basic stuff in those days. But anyway, that's the fuselage and the lower wings on frame B. Frame D for Delta here has the outer portions of the upper wings, ailerons, tailplane, fin, steering column, interesting, tail skid, and 2 types of propeller, only one of which of course gets used for this kit. Frame E for Echo is essentially the Bentley engine. So it's a 9-cylinder, I believe, 9-cylinder rotary engine, meaning the whole engine spins round. Here are the tops of the cylinders, it's really nicely modelled. The com rods these are valve rods to sort of operate the valves as it spins round. And I guess this is the exhaust manifold. Can't remember from memory on the BR how it all worked. Maybe it didn't have an exhaust motor, just sort of pumped up, maybe that's inlet, and just sort of pumped out the exhaust into the air. I know a lot of pilots had that flying at them. It's castor oil, so it's a lossy system. It wasn't a completely closed system. So on a lot of these engines, it just used to throw out castor oil soot and all sorts of rubbish. Anyway, we'll see how it all goes together later on, but it looks really nice. That's the BR1 engine. Now there is a frame C which has some transparent parts. I don't know how many of these we're going to use. There's like a rudimentary windshield here. I don't know what the rest are for. Maybe maybe a fewer lights. There's not that many lights on these things. Don't know what these little windows are for. But we'll find out later how many of these, if any, we use. But these are all the transparent parts on frame C. 1, 2, 3. There is a piece of photo etch supplied with the kit. This has the parts of the restraint, the seat belt basically. And these two bits are to do with, I think, the little generator prop on the wings, the gun sights and stuff like that. But also included in my box, and I suspect by Michael as an extra gift, is the Edward photo etch set. You can see here the seat belts are fully pre-painted as well. This is the seat back in wicker, which looks all very nice. All sorts of bits and pieces. These are tiny arming fins for the very small bombs it carried on some missions. So it's plenty there to do a lot of detailing with. If we have a look at some of this moulding here, I mean, there is just no flash on this. Let's just get that right out there straight away. There's no flash here. These mouldings are lovely. The stitching and the sort of the undershaping of the ribs for the airfoil, absolutely lovely. There's some stitching on the aircraft, which is not bad, actually, not bad at all. The instrument panel here looks as primitive as it in fact was in many respects by our standards. Anyway, it wasn't at all primitive in those standards. It was quite luxurious to have all sorts of things like altimeters and airspeed indicators and things like that at the accuracy that the Camel had them. Of course, when you're wheeling around the sky dogfighting, sometimes some of this information is a little superlative. But it's a nice sheen. As I say, there's no flash anywhere. Now, because these parts are both sides, the wings don't come in. Let's try and get that to focus again. Okay. Now, because the wings don't come as separate halves, this is a single mould, and there's detail on both sides. The injector is direct onto the front leading edge there, so that will need to be taken off carefully and obviously sanded down carefully. The feed gates onto the wings are on the front edge, on the leading edge here. That's because the wings are a single piece. There's not a top and a bottom, so there's no way of undercutting them. So that's just going to need a bit of care and attention to take off when it comes around to it. There's a sort of a hint of internal structure here, which of course would be that there is actually a structure you build in this part to make that, but that's just the formers and stringers or whatever they're called of the fuselage. Just, you can probably bring it up with a bit of detailing as well. But the moulding's lovely. There's no flash anywhere. It looks crisp, it looks clean. It's very nice. The interior parts and the detail parts are just as lovely here. These are the coolant barrels around the machine guns. One thing here that is going to be replaced here, this is the wicker seat back for the pilot. That's going to be replaced by a bit of photo etch to just sort of make it a bit more obvious, a bit more sort of realistic. That's quite a thick part for weave, but you know, detailed, absolutely. All the pipe work here, throttle linkages and whatever, all very nicely done. Breeches for the guns are up here as well, which look nice. Yeah, the printing is lovely, the moulding's lovely, it's crisp, sharp, absolutely spot on, and not any waste anywhere, no flash or overruns anywhere. There is a very large decal sheet here with lots and lots and lots of interesting things. There's kind of, I guess we would call them stencils. There's a few things here. A lot of manufacturers' markings for things like propellers and stuff like that. There's the individual instrument covers here and other bits and pieces there as well. There's the British markings at the top here. And at first glance, when you first look at them, you think, oh, they're a bit bitty. There's, you know, some stuff that's not quite right there. But then when you look, it's all very, very carefully designed that these are where rigging goes, or there's a thing here, maybe this is a tab for something, and it gets filled in by this part here. Absolutely beautiful looking decals. Polish markings down here, of course. Very, very beautiful looking, but have a look in more detail. But you know, as a sheet, when you first look at that and you think, wow, that is actually really nice. And they are printed by Cartograph, so these colours are absolutely spot on. They're screen printed individually, not 4-colour printed. There are individual screen prints, even some things that look metallic as well, so absolutely beautiful. Looking more closely at the decals, the colours are just absolutely spot on. The blues and reds used sort of varied over the years, and these just look absolutely lovely. The crispness of these numbers is, as usual, I mean, look, 0.5mm pencil lead, absolutely readable. There's a Black Mariah labelling. These markings here, very nice. This artwork is spot on. I mean, absolutely spot on. Look how sharp it is. And that's what white is not easy to print sharply, I have to say. The what we would call stencils, such as they are all here, all very nice. The instruments are here. Again, very cleanly printed. Nice colouring. Yeah, everything about these is charming. Look at that Polish logo. Absolutely spot on. Razor sharp print. And because designed in New Zealand and printed by Cartograph in Italy. So these colours are pure colours that have been screen printed. These are not these are not 4-colour print to make up to look roughly right. These are genuine inks that are then screen printed on, so you get the depth, you get the richness, but most of all you get the sharpness of every colour layer. Absolutely beautiful. As you'd expect from Cartograph, in 1/32, they are remarkable. Then there is the instruction sheet, full colour cover, of course. Very, very comprehensive history here. Discussion of aircraft colours as well, which is really very interesting. Some specs of the BR1 version of the Camel down here. But, you know, you just get the feeling this has been properly researched, this kit. Really, really good. And he even quotes references at the bottom, which is always a very good sign of proper research. Inside we have the translation of the icons that are used. We have paint callouts, what the colours are, the Tamiya, Humbrol and Federal Standard where appropriate. Most of the colours are either Tamiya or Humbrol. Some of the Tamiya paints you mix up. Obviously there are going to be other brands as well that you can use, but those are the ones they're suggesting. Then you have the frame maps. As you can see, some of the parts aren't used because they're used on other versions of the Camel with different engines or whatever. There are 2 propellers here. I'm guessing that they were on different marks within the 5 that are included in this kit, but we'll see. The actual instructions are just incredible. You know, you've got to put it out there that these are so well researched, so beautifully drawn. You know, you look at Qatari, that's from New Zealand, it's the same guys basically in many respects. The quality of these, step by step, do this, cut that out. This is where the colours go. Expanded diagram of where the colours are going. A bit of reference to show you things about the colours and the shapes and what goes where. All of this hugely well researched and hugely beautifully produced. I mean, it looks remarkable, absolutely remarkable. There's some photo etch here that comes with the kit, of course. We'll be using some another set, the Edward set. But everywhere you look, it's just beautifully done. Now, they do have instructions for doing all of the rigging, interior cable rigging as well. So this is 0.1, 0.15 and 0.15 sizes to look realistic to scale, and they color code them so that you can do them and you know what's going where basically. So you've got bracing wires, you've got ailerons and rudder runs that are leaving the cockpit area. You can also do the same on the inside of the tail, and all sorts of, whenever there's rigging, it's all color coded, sized to look at the right scale. Absolutely incredible, absolutely amazing. Yeah, I don't know what to say more than that. I mean, it all just looks beautiful. It's not the easiest thing to build. I guess it will take a long time, but that's the point. You want these to take a long time because, you know, you want to make it look good. And what's the point of buying a 1/32 Camel at this level of detail? I mean, look at oh, those are induction pipes. Okay, just exquisite. And wiring, if you want to add wiring, which I definitely would be doing. Different types of propeller, again, different types of engine cowling, depending on the very precise mark of the aircraft that you're using. And then the overall aircraft rigging, again, different sizes of cabling required, and some more information and tips and tricks for doing the rigging, including using these rigging blocks. They recommend for a lot of this using Easy Line or something like that. And it says, actually says here, they recommend using a stretchy thing like Easy Line. Try not to replicate any turnbuckles which are not applicable to the Sopwith Camel anyway, so don't bother trying. That's nice to know. Then there's the colour schemes and decal layouts for the types included. Again, a nice comprehensive history of the actual aircraft. Michael sent me this one because this one's called Black Maria, but Black Maria, of course, is my wife's name, so it's plain named after Maria. Donna Vetter, Hinchcliffe's aircraft. Brown's aircraft, which is the box art scheme. One flown by a variety of people, Beamish and Little and Pierce and Sykes as well. And then one flown by Murray in the Kioshku Squadron in Poland in 1920. And then a few extra bits and pieces of research at the back. I mean, it is absolutely astonishing level of quality, of print, of instruction, detail, reference, everything of a top level kit is right in there. There we go. What a lovely looking thing it is. As I mentioned before, I'm not going to start this until I've got some better model making skills and plenty of rigging cables and the like, so I can make a proper job of it. Some kits just need everything you can bring to it. I will make it, just maybe not quite yet. Anyway, if you've enjoyed the video, then please remember, give it the old imperial thumbs up, hit the notification bell and subscribe to the channel. Thanks so much for watching today, and goodbye.